Welcome, paranormal enthusiasts, to this week's episode of Creepin' It Real, here on the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network, where everyone comes for their paranormal fix. Real people, real stories, in real time. So glad you could join us for some ghostly gab. I'm your host, Eleanor Wagner.
Hi, y'all. As always, I appreciate you hitting the subscribe tab, follow button, or show app on your podcast of choice. Everybody give a hello shout out to our coast to coast techie, Crispy Bacon. He'll be working hard tonight to help us run smoothly. Tonight's guests are part of a team of investigators working out of New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, and Connecticut. Join me in welcoming East Coast Spirit Chasers. We have Nick Waskew, Travis Gilbert, Terry Gilbert, Melissa Waskew, David Legend, and Tracy Kelly. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
You all have such fascinating backgrounds. I'm quite impressed.
Thank you.
Nick
Yeah.
Waskew, you're the lead investigator. You said your first experience was when you were 12, but since you've investigated over 100 locations, correct?
That's right. I've been passionately doing this. It started way back in the day with a friend of mine, and we were watching My Ghost Story. And this was not like it is today, where it's just teams that are going doing their thing. It was regular people that were submitting in their paranormal evidence, and I was like, well, I want to do that. So we went to a cemetery and with the digital recorder, and my first EVP, or electronic voice phenomena, I got was "I'll kill them," and that was like a welcome to the paranormal field. And ever since then, I've been hooked, and I've been consistently going to at least one or two every month since then. This is like going on over a decade now.
Wow, that's great. And I see that you dabbled in past life regression as well, correct?
Yeah, I was very fascinated. I've met a lot of people with different types of gifts, and we've worked with different shaman, and one of them did a past life read on me, and he was able to kind of look at previous past lives, and we learned about soul tribes, and that's the same type of people that show up in each life. And these guys right here that you see on the screen, they've been in my past lives, and they're in this one as well. And so, I was able to kind of research some of my previous lifetimes, and it's just been very fascinating.
I love past life regression. I actually went for a session myself because I've always felt a certain attachment to certain eras. And it was definitely an odd experience. So I want to go back and do it again.
Yeah, I had it, but I kind of have like it was just really strange. A lot of weird things going on, but as far as the healing part of it, I think I got a lot out of it.
That's great. I hear of that with a lot of people, that it helps them to heal in areas of their lives they never even knew they could.
Yeah, and the person I go with, it's the person I go to Reiki regularly, and she recorded it on audio, and I was able to listen back to it, and it's just like, wow, like some of the answers were like, you know, shocking when you're kind of listening back and just taking it all in.
Yeah. So Travis Gilbert, you are an investigator and a medium, and you've experienced things ever since childhood. I'm fascinated that you are a special needs investigator, which is definitely a rare breed. And I understand that it enables you to work without emotion, which protects you from dangerous situations. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you have befriended spirits that follow you on investigations that help you in suggesting things and warning you from danger?
Yes.
I am amazed. That's wonderful.
We would say there's probably at least 7 spirits that come with Travis from time to time and bounce in and out. He's been able to identify them all and tells what they're wearing and why they're there. And they usually our impression is that they're there to protect Travis and protect
I
us.
imagine they've gotten to know all of you team members as well, which makes for a good union group, right?
Yep.
Now,
It's
Terry,
comforting to know that they're looking out for us.
oh, absolutely. Hey, more help you can get when you're in a situation like that, the better off you are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Travis is just so valuable to the group because he can see dead people, and he can identify portals. He can look into the portals, and he can tell you what he sees in there.
Wow.
A lot of times on the investigation, it really makes things fascinating because he'll be like, "I see somebody standing there." So I'll walk up to where he sees him with the digital recorder, and I'll just be like, "We see you here. Can you answer some questions?" And the responses that we'll get will be louder because we're in the proximity closer to the spirit. It's really fascinating, and we've been able to validate him time and time again.
So, Terry, I see you both have you relate to Travis?
Is that for Terry?
Yes.
Yeah, Terry's ill and wasn't able to come on. But Terry's,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, she's Travis's mom.
Oh, okay. How did you all meet, you guys?
Well, I met Terry and Travis in prison, Moundsville Penitentiary. Dave contacted us from an ad that we had put on looking for investigators.
Nick, can you clear up that you were touring the prison? You weren't actual prisoners.
Yes, well, I should make that clear. And Tracy, we met her at Apollo Theater. She was Paxton, that's what it was. And she was kind of hosting the event for us, just, kind of like a, hey, opening it up for us. And we just clicked since then.
That's
And
great.
Melissa, I've known her for like 30 years, back when I was a karaoke rock star. She couldn't stand me back in the day, but through our intrigue of paranormal, it's kind of brought us together, and now she tolerates me since then.
She's the investigator and researcher who leaves no stone unturned when doing her research, and she's proven invaluable because she's able to piece things together. As I said.
Yeah, my memory, I don't know, it jumps in when it needs to. So little things, I'll be like, oh, well, remember when we heard this, or remember when this was said, and then it kind of helps just piece it together.
Well, again, tell them
the
your
research
nickname.
and things is so important because sometimes it ends up solving a whole mystery of who somebody is that's trying to get in touch with you.
And they decided to nickname me Malexa.
That's funny. David, you're in the investigator and the historian as well, correct?
Yeah, I'm a high school history teacher, and I used to do Civil War reenactments. So I'm always into the history of the building, the location, looking at what happened, what transpired on those grounds prior, that might give some type of indication, whether there was a yellow fever outbreak or a fire or a battle, things like that. So it comes in handy, especially I have a lot of Civil War props that we use as triggers.
That's great.
Go to place Gettysburg or battlefields in Virginia, they come in handy.
You and I have that historian too. When I write my books, I write about the history of the locations and the towns. So I give people that kind of background, and then I tell the ghost story. And then if the paranormal team gets in, then I can tell them what we experienced as a paranormal team. So it really does bring everything to life when you have that background information for people. Now, Tracy, you're an investigator and the techie.
Yes.
That's cool. So you get all the equipment, and being a photographer, that's awesome. That definitely helps the situation. Have you gotten some great photographic catches in your adventures?
I have tried. Dave gets those catches.
Does
he? Yeah, he's really good at it. I have great pictures, but I think because of the fact that I've been concentrating more on video, and since Dave's been getting all of the pictures, I've been letting him do all of the running around before we start getting the pictures while I'm setting up. So
that's okay.
I have a lot of equipment to set up. So
one of the last pictures where I got something very clear, Travis had seen a woman by the stairs, and I was taking the picture from behind Tracy. So Tracy's in the foreground, and then we got our anomalies from the pictures there.
That's cool.
If we see Travis looking at something, we know it's time to get
We
the
have to
camera
ask.
out.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's definitely a way to figure things out when somebody else on the team is experiencing something, and that's how we figure it too. When a bunch of us are getting some kind of vibe, we know something's going on, and then somebody starts taking the pictures, and that's usually my pictures. I get the pictures a lot.
Nick says that about Terry because Terry gets different experiences at places. If Terry's thrown up in the parking lot, Nick was the first one to say, well, we know it's going to be a good investigation. And she's not on your show right now because she's feeling ill. So I think this is going to be a really good podcast.
They told me that you were the jokester, so I can see why they mean that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but just talking about Tracy, I don't want to sell her short, is because she contributes so much as far as being the most prepared person on an investigation. We know if someone's done her homework, it's always going to be Tracy. And as far as equipment wise, she has created probably the best, most clearest ghost box that I have ever heard. And
It is good.
props to her for that. And she's got our logo and everything on it. It makes it nice and pretty. But she makes all sorts of different types of
REM
things
pods
that
and
we can
yeah.
use on the investigations. The IR light that she has on there is the best IR light that I've ever seen, and that goes, kind of blanketing all the stores that sell IR lights. Like it's not even close. That's how talented that this girl is.
Wow. Well, you really got a cool team because everybody's got their talents and you all seem very good at it. So I'm impressed.
And as far as Terry, since she couldn't make it though, I just want to say I call her like a human EMF detector
Mhm.
because she feels when there's a spirit around. You don't need K2 meter or anything like that. And she really takes a beating on some of these locations. It's not necessarily spirits that are trying to be malicious, but sometimes they will show what they experience physically toward her. So she gets nauseated a lot of time. It's because the energy can be so much, not necessarily that something's messing with her. But there are occasions where she does have spirits that want to be a little malicious, and she's. I've seen her throw up blood. I've seen her vomit. I've seen her choked. I've seen her
Oh,
scratched. She gets beat up, but she comes right back. She's a badass for sure.
Mhm.
well, I hope she feels better. Tell her I'm sorry we missed her tonight.
Yeah.
You guys went to West Manor in Burlington, New Jersey, and Techie Chris is going to put a picture up for the viewers. Picture credit to Judy's rival. West Hill is a historic manor house that was built between May and July 1789 for Samuel and Susanna Emlyn. Susanna is the one most notorious of the inhabitants of the home because she is the one of the first and earliest survivors of breast cancer, having died 5 years after her surgery. But time after trying extensive options to eliminate her growing tumor, her actual surgery was performed without anesthesia. That alone is something enough to make someone haunt a building. Did you actually have her visit you that night when you did your investigation there?
Well, let me first say, when people talk about hauntings in New Jersey, you hear about White Hill Manor. That's really the main go-to because New Jersey's a little kind of stuck up when it comes to giving access to investigations. But I want to give a shout out to Strauss Manor in Atlantic Highlands, fantastic. And West Hill Manor is a diamond in the rough. We didn't know what to expect. A friend of mine told me about this location, and we went. And the evidence that we got was just nonstop. And I believe we have some clips from this location. The whole thing with the tumor that they cut out, we actually have intelligent, well, they're talking about it. I think it's residual, is basically what it is. And you'll hear residual answers that are going back and forth. For those that don't know the difference between intelligent response and residual, intelligent is responding to your question. Residual is stuff that's happening where they're talking about a certain situation in that given time. And the responses that we got about the tumor, it's like it was happening at that moment. And I don't
What
know
if,
if you guys want to roll the clips.
what if,
Yeah.
what about the shark clip? What about that one?
Oh, the shark is Let me tell you, Dave, why don't you go ahead and take this one away? This was Dave's brilliance.
Well, Nick asked me to draw a picture. He asked the spirits if they wanted to play Pictionary, and I just picked up the paper and I drew a shark. And I thought this obviously looks like a shark. And then I started drawing other things to see if drawing more things would draw them in. And I drew some clouds. And then the next thing that popped in my head was a gun. And Nick is like, "What are you on tonight that you're drawing clouds? And it looks like a flying shark." And he was making fun of me, and he's just like, nobody's going to figure this thing out. And then we heard on the spirit box, he said, "What did Dave draw?" And we heard shark.
Wow.
Right over, and it stopped us in our tracks. So we've made that a daily, pretty much a fair practice when we go on locations. We bring a eraser board and we come in there with markers now, and we're going to try and see if we can play some Pictionary with the spirits.
Nice.
It's that outside the box thinking that we like to do.
Yeah.
You don't see this kind of stuff on the TV shows. I don't know any other paranormal teams that kind of do this type of thing. So we kind of like to try some new things, and a lot of the things we try really pays off.
That's great. Well, we're going to have Chris run the clip for the shark first, and then we'll do the tumor one so we can see them.
In the kitchen, we had just turned the camera off, and a voice on the ghost box says, "Draw a picture." Dave then took a paper and pen and turned this into a Pictionary experiment.
Do you know what Dave just drew? Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! What is that? Gun? Got flying sharks with guns?
He's in the sky.
What kind of drugs do you want, Dave?
I'm just drawing multiple things. Maybe we can get a hit.
Can you tell me what Dave drew here? Or better yet, what kind of drugs Dave is on?
Did you just say the shark? Did you just say the shark? Did you just say the shark? Did you just say I said?
Oh my god!
We're done.
Oh my god!
We're done.
Oh my god!
We're done.
As we joked with Dave about his drawing, it turned out that he had the last laugh. His evolved version of sharks got us the answer that we were looking for.
Can you tell me what Dave drew here? Or better yet, what kind of drugs Dave is on?
Nothing like a team that has fun together. That's very fun.
And I think that's really what kind of gets us the evidence that we do, is because of when you come in there with a good vibe, they're going to be attracted to that. If you go in there and you're just kind of like by the book, if you go out having fun, I think that's what's going to draw more of the interaction with the spirits.
It absolutely does. They love when they hear you fraternizing and laughing and having a good time. They want to be a part. It's almost like they miss that part of life.
Yeah. Lottery.
All right, Chris, you want to run that tumor one, please?
It's out.
As we begin our investigation, we immediately get some very suggestive answers. The phrase, "let me see it." Could this be the residual voice of Samuel Emlyn being shown the lump on Susanna's chest for the first time? The phrase, "they're cutting her," chillingly speaks for itself. The final phrase, "it's out." Could this be the moment of relief that Samuel was waiting for as he stood by helplessly as his wife underwent a mastectomy?
It's out. It's out. I wonder if that's like from the tumor. Yeah. Is the tumor out? They got it. They got it. They got it.
Wow, that is just amazing footage. Wow, that is great. And I love the way you do your videos too. Like you really present it well for the audience to see.
He's really good.
Yeah, cool. Oh, you guys went to Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York, and I'm going to give the picture credit to the Haunted Hinsdale House site. I'm going to put that up. The haunted house in Hinsdale is perhaps the most famous haunted house in the area and has all the elements of a good ghost story: mysterious history, strange sightings, unexplainable events, and even an exorcism was there. The house on McMahon Road first gained notoriety when a book, Echoes of a Haunting, came out. And Clarence lived in the house along with their children in the early 70s. During their time there, they were visited by many spirits. A priest from St. Bonaventure University was at the house more than once to perform an exorcism, which worked for a while, but as time went by, the Dandy family lost the battle and ended up leaving the house for good. Definitely a place for hauntings, it seems.
Yes, a very creepy place too, in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of nowhere.
Tell me what happened when you were there.
Well, basically one of the things that was going on there was brothers that were murdering people that were coming off the stagecoach, and Travis ended up seeing them, and we ended up interrogating them and found out a whole bunch of different things. He was able to identify that there was a portal in the main floor. It's not a very big house at all, and it's so small. And in the main living room, you can actually look up to the ceiling, and there's just a little gated little passage where you can just talk, I guess, up and down,
Like
a vent basically, to the floor above, and it's very small but very active. This is a location, probably the only location that I've had multiple dreams about, almost like calling me there. I've had friends that have gone there, and the car alarms would start going off, just for no unexplained reasons. Everybody's car alarm would go off. We investigated there, and we were on Facebook Live. We've got this video, and as we're doing our investigation, it's still daylight. We see a shadow figure that ends up crossing right in front of us. Actually, I think it's in the video that I sent, or it could be in the visual visual evidence clip that we have. But basically, we had a shadow figure there. We've got people that were murdered there. We were in one of the upstairs bedrooms, and there was something going on. There was a cold draft there. We're looking at the windows, looking for vents. We couldn't do it. Tracy starts taking photos. I said, show the photos to Travis. He shows the photos to Travis, and he's like, there's something there, and it's posing as a little girl, because we were getting a little girl response. And one of the photos that was captured actually showed like a girl from the waist up in a dress. And Travis said, well, that's not a little girl. It's something posing because it couldn't keep its form. So when we kind of added a little more pressure, we ended up getting a voice kind of almost like calling us out. And it said, go get the bishop. Kind of like, you guys tried to do an exorcism here. It was a failed exorcism on the Hinsdale house. Step it up and get a bishop and bring it here. Almost challenging. It was really fascinating stuff.
And that's the clip that you brought with you today.
Yes.
Okay, Chris, you want to show that? You want to show that to us, please?
Are you?
Hey, Terry, can you come in here and let me know if you sent somebody over here?
Yeah, someone's here. I can tell already.
Because I just felt a cold spot right here.
It's a little girl.
It's a little girl? The real question is it a real little girl? Or is it something else? Take a picture of this room and show it to Travis and ask him if he sees anybody in the photo.
You don't think it's an actual girl?
Okay.
What happened?
It's a little girl, but he says it's really a little girl.
And the little girl's right here in the corner.
Where in the corner?
So
Point.
He just says right here.
So she would be over on that side.
Right here.
Okay.
Okay, but he says, I don't think it's a real actual girl.
So it's something that's
So
posing
posing.
In multiple photos taken by Tracy, this was the only one with something unusual. Travis, who can see dead people, sees a little girl in the area where I felt the cold spot. He says he doesn't believe this was a little girl because she couldn't consistently keep her form. In this incredible photo, you can see the image of a little girl waist up in a dress with long hair. We believe that this was something more insidious, posing as a little girl for us to lower our guard.
You're not allowed to be this close to me. I need you to back up. Please go back to that wall and stay there. And stay there. And stay there.
Father Trebold was unsuccessful in his effort to cleanse this home. Was this message from whatever malevolent entity mocking us by telling us to go get a bishop to try another exorcism on the house?
Interesting.
Yeah, that place is incredible. There's just so many different memories that I get when I think of that place, and I've been fortunate to investigate there twice.
Yeah, creepy.
I love creepy.
Creeping it real.
That's why I married her.
That's right.
That one was too easy. All right, give me a pass on that. As she elbowed me.
Okay, so you guys also went to the Wildwood Sanitarium in Salamanca, New York.
Oh wow,
But
Wildwood.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Wildwood was amazing. It's probably hands down the best ghost box session that we've ever had.
Really?
There's a room that they have. It's nothing but haunted dolls, and the responses that we were getting back were intelligent. They were clear, and it just told us about the vibe that was going on in there. And they referred to themselves as a family.
Well, I can imagine all those dolls, and a lot of them have attachments too, because
Right.
that's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, and I love talking to dolls. We just recently did a tattoo shop down in South Jersey, and we got all sorts of crazy answers. So anytime there's a doll or a doll room, I just love to kind of dig in there and see what we can get.
Cape May, Jersey is one of my favorite places in Jersey. I just love the haunts in Cape May.
We're doing Cape May in April.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm jealous. Well, Chris, put up the picture of the Wildwood Sanitarium for us. I'm going to let
Can I chime in just for a moment?
Established in 1999, and there is a sign in front of the door which reads that the sanitarium and bathhouse are now open for the treatment of all conditions except diseases. We endeavor to make the conditions inside the house as pleasant as possible, and we'll try to give each patient individual attention. Owner Lori has owned the location for about 5 years. It was built in 1900. The building was first purchased in 1903. The sanitarium in 1906, established officially in 1909. It remained a sanitarium until 1923 when it was forced to become a clinic for the tuberculosis patients. It eventually became an osteopathic practicing form of natural holistic healing. With all the tuberculosis patients in there, I imagine it's definitely a cool haunting. Sure.
Yeah, Terry had a rough time there.
I'll bet. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a doctor that really had it out for her, and every room that she went into, this guy was just on her and making her very uncomfortable. And a lot of times she ended up having to leave the building to go outside and catch a breather because she was getting so nauseated there. So, I mean, it's a fantastic location if you're a paranormal enthusiast. It's just so active. Wait till you guys see this doll room clip that we had brought for you guys.
Okay, Chris, you want to run that
Talking
for us?
about the clip, though, can I just chime in?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So what I want you to pay attention to is the fact that there is a voice, a very deep voice that keeps coming through. It's the same voice, which is really unusual on a ghost box because you're doing a radio sweep that doesn't actually stop at any channel. So to actually hear that same voice over and over again is very, very unusual. And we got full phrases from it.
And the fascinating thing is you could tell when there was going to be an answer coming, because you would hear like the static start to build up, and then the answer would come. Well, you guys will hear it when you hear the clip.
Okay. We're ready, Chris, when you are.
What doll should we try to talk to here? Him! Did you hear that? That was creepy. Him. Who's him? What? Can everybody be still? Back up. Offer, give her some space. What?
Your mama?
That was a little creepy. We're married. Who's married? Oh, look at that. You guys are married. Tell me about the married couple. That creepy voice. Who wants to talk to us today?
The children.
The children. The children. Innocent. Did you hear that?
How many dolls in this room have a spirit attached to them?
$20. Wow. Look at all these dolls. Why do you stay in the doll? Did the doll mean something to you?
There's another cow behind me.
Very traditional. If you said there's 20 dolls that have spirits, who's the boss of these dolls? Who runs the show here? The family! Wow! You're a family here. What's the name of this family? That's crazy. Sure, yeah. We want to thank everybody who came through.
Yes, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dolls that will jump you like Chucky.
You guys get such great stuff. I mean, I don't remember the last time I saw a team that really got such good shit. I mean, this is really impressive.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't want to overload you guys with clips. There's so many more things. Like if you go into our social media, it's just like clip after clip of some of these out of the box crazy experiences that we've been able to document.
Wow, that is cool. Well, the one thing I really was excited about talking to you about was the pet haunting clip that you had, because I am such a huge believer in that our pets are with us. And just from people that I've interviewed for my books and my presentations, so many people come forward with documentation, whether it's photographic or just a story that they want to share, them having contact with their pet. And I mean, even more recently, we just lost one of our beloved dogs.
I'm sorry to hear.
Thank you. They're members of the family.
Of course,
and
yeah.
We had 3 dogs, and each dog, though we loved them all equally, they had their person, right? So my Heidi, she was the one that passed away. She was my daughter's dog, and they had that connection with one another. And Cassidy, my daughter, really hard. passed away, and she had to go to work that next day. Of course, it's still in your head. You're grieving. And Heidi's favorite thing to eat was liverwurst. And my daughter worked in a deli bakery. And you very, very rarely get somebody who orders a liverwurst sandwich. And Heidi is not a common name. So she was grieving my kid, and she was really upset. All of a sudden, this lady comes in to place sandwich order, and her name is Heidi. And it kind of clicked with me. That's really weird. And then the lady left, and as soon as she left, the next person came in, ordered a liverwurst. To me, that is not a coincidence. That's Heidi letting Cassidy know I'm okay. And Cassidy gets on the phone. She calls me. She's like, "Mom, I'm okay now. Heidi let me know she's okay." So I always tell my readers, I'm like, you guys need to really just receive these messages, accept them, and don't let anyone tell you you're full of shit, because that message is for you. Just like your loved ones send a message, loved furry friends as well. So you have this clip that you called a pet haunting from a plane case that you did, and the homeowner was so overwhelmed that he wanted you to actually share the video out there so that people will know that their pets are with them too. Is that correct?
Yeah, when we do client cases, everything's confidential. We don't want to put their business out there. We also don't want to get in trouble if they want to sell their home and they say, well, they said that our house is haunted, so we don't document any of that stuff. We don't put it online. But this specific clip, because it touched him so much, he's like, you have to go and, show this to people. And it's comforting to know that when your pets die, they remain. Dave, you want to chime in on this?
Yeah, when we were in the house, there were some things that had come up. One of our mediums had immediately gotten the letter M, and that kind of keyed us in. Mel started to notice at one point one of the ornaments on the tree was that the guy owned a dog named Major, and we started thinking that was the M, and all of our equipment that was on the ground was activating, which was kind of telling to us that it was only the stuff on the ground. And then we actually started getting barking sounds, and we played them back to the owner, and he told us the dog had passed away weeks before in that room. And he said the bark sounded just like his dog. He was in tears. And we captured a bark. It was the first time we ever heard a bark on a spirit box. And it was right when we said, does anybody have anything else to say? And we heard a woof. And we all just looked at each other like it was out of nowhere. And it just kind of, I wish we had tamed our reactions a little better, because I think we all, there was some cursing and holy, and it really caught us off guard.
Yeah, that's great. Got an EVP too, where an elder had his dog with him, and the family recognized the elderly grandfather. Dogs bark. They're together in the other place, and everybody. There was not a dry place trying to get a connection with his grandpa and his dog. It was just wild. So I know those reactions when you're overwhelmed with something like that. But why don't we run a hunting clip for everybody to listen to when you're ready?
Is Major still in the house? Here. You know what? Maybe let's go over to where they put him down. I wonder if he's sitting there.
I wonder if he's like sniffing it.
Major, is that you, buddy?
Oh.
Can you turn that off, please? Turn our ears. Thank you. Do you have any questions for us?
Oh my God! That was a dog
Oh my God!
That's nuts.
That's gonna blow his mind.
Nuts.
He's gonna That's gonna blow his mind. That's gonna blow his mind.
Yeah, so that was pretty meaningful for him.
Wow, that's great. I love it.
That's what I love is that it's the stuff that we get ourselves into is just sometimes so unpredictable, and not everything is always Casper the ghost. It could be it could be a dog. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so great. Oh my goodness. You had also mentioned that your medium Terry, that she gets physically affected on the investigations, and sometimes it's malicious. Sometimes the energy of the location could be so overwhelming to her that it will make her sick, or sometimes spirit may show her what they experienced physically, like in the tuberculosis situation. So you have documentation on clips called "Some Attacks" that of things that she's gone through. So you want to give us a little preview verbally before Chris puts that clip up?
The key word is some, because there's been many, many more. I've been investigating with Terry maybe 7, 8 years now, and she started off as an empath, and she was just feeling a lot of things. And we tried an experiment at the Conjuring House where her and another medium, I wanted them to hold hands and do a walkthrough. And as they were doing this, it activated her. It's like she leveled up on her abilities. All of a sudden, she could read people. She could feel so much more than what was going on. Now I can give her a photo, and she can tell me what's going on with this specific person or house or item. And she really just escalated her abilities from that moment. I didn't even know that you can unlock your abilities, and that's exactly what she did in that exact moment.
Wow.
So from then, it also put more of a bullseye on her back. As someone who has abilities, you're going to be drawn. More spirits are going to be drawn to you. They want to show you things. They may want to harm you, and sometimes the energy is too much. And this is just a couple clips of some of the many ways that she's been affected.
Okay, Chris.
This first clip, I think, from Wildwood.
You all right? Don't forget to wash your hands. Terry, excuse me, I'm gonna go shower. Is that all right? So tell us what happened.
I don't know. It's bad. They were probably doing something to my head, and that's why it hurt so bad.
Looks like he's gonna be bothering you in all the rooms.
Probably. He thinks I'm a patient.
Get her out of the room. Let her go. Get her out of the room. Get her out.
Uh-oh, Terry.
Get her out. Get her out.
Can you grab the trash bin? Come on,
We'll carry this.
with you. You know what? Go in the bathroom.
No, let's get her out of the building right now.
Grab some cold water with paper towels.
Yeah.
The first time she picked up blood.
What? You puked up blood?
I mean, it's not a lot, but it's enough to. That's the first time.
Yeah,
Man, she's a trooper. Holy
She
Let
crap.
me tell you something. That is not the half of it, because that doesn't even include me terrorizing her on investigations, because I scare her constantly. If we
I
know
wouldn't
there's
come
bats
back
in the
just because of that.
look, if there's bats in the location, I'm going to chase her and flick her ear with a piece of paper, and I'll terrorize her.
Dave's gotten her good so many times. So that's like some of the clips that you saw there. They're they're from our Facebook Live. We go live on investigations, so who knows what's going to happen? And uh, we see it as people who are tuning in see it, and these are effects. And one of the clips where she was actually puking blood, that's actually from an upcoming documentary that we're working on. A little clip in there. You'll see more of it when it actually comes out.
What stands out as your most favorite investigation?
For me, I always go back to Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia. It's just, I don't know why. We get desensitized ghost hunting. I just felt so comfortable there. And it's a creepy place. You shouldn't feel comfortable. I felt comfortable there, except in the lobotomy recovery area. It's the first time I've ever been physically sick. And I've been on about 125 investigations. I've never felt sick at one, but I had to get out of that lobotomy recovery room because it made me ill.
Really?
That one just always stood out for me for some reason. It's just the building, the architecture, the history, the different wings, and all the things that were available there.
For me, it's probably Bobby Mackey's Music World in Kentucky. When people call it the portal to hell, they're not kidding. We had something that was just like stalking us, big shadow man that was pacing back and forth on the stage. We were in the apartment room. I forgot his name, but it was his apartment. Travis sees the guy who passed away there. He was a caretaker. He sees him in the bathroom there. Travis would see someone hanging. He's like, there's a woman hanging here. We had the Connect camera, and it ended up showing, like the stick figure hanging there, validating what Travis was seeing, and he felt that it was someone that was past that hung themselves on a loop, and it would just continuously just keep looping itself because he saw her multiple times just go up and hang herself. But Travis is so desensitized that, he's seen headless people, and we've told him, look, just think of it as like a Halloween costume, a really good one, to kind of, just make him like, yeah, whatever, it's just a headless guy.
Or just heads without the body.
Yeah, or sometimes he'll just see body parts just floating around.
Right.
But, there was all kinds of things. We had people being affected there. You don't really like when people are affected, but it does make an investigation more exciting because it's just like, what's going on? You want to figure out what's going on. But in this instance, not only were we encountering something that was demonic, because not everything is demonic like TV will tell you. Like if you watch certain shows, everything's demonic. There was definitely stuff going on there, and stuff that, we're like, we demand you to identify yourself, and we got Beelzebub as an answer, which was pretty fascinating, and stuff talking about it's going to eat our souls, and that's just, the tip of the iceberg of the type of activity that we encounter.
Travis, do you have a favorite?
Not yet.
Not yet.
He's looking for a haunted ice cream store. So that's going to be his favorite before we even investigate.
He keeps asking if we could investigate Hershey, Pennsylvania for some reason.
Oh, okay. Hey, you never know what might be there, right? Tracy, do you have one?
I do. Well, there's always a toss-up because there's, a lot of really good places. But my personal favorite experience was Wilson Castle. And it was because on the way to Wilson Castle, Terry kept saying, somebody's like this in my ear. Just chop, 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 chop. That's got something really important to say. And now we're at the castle, and I'm unloading equipment and stuff. And, this is my birthday week. My birthday we're celebrating and stuff. And she's telling Nick and Mel and them that it keeps coming up Charles or Charlie or Chuck or something like that. I'm like, oh, that's my dad. Okay,
Oh,
so anyways, later on in the evening, my dad appeared and said that one of the things that he needed to say, and this is why he was like this, he needed to come across, and he said he just wanted to make sure that my boys will always remember him, and that
aw,
came across on the ghost box. And what was interesting is the fact that I know for a fact that that would be the only thing my dad would worry about when he passes.
wow. What a
So I can
blessing
hear,
that was,
I
that
know
message.
I can actually hear him saying that. And
Mm,
then we had validation afterwards of some of the things that he would say. And then, of course, Brooke had her family members. Brooke was just a waitress that we had met um, before the investigation, and she had visitations from her family members as well. So it was just a really interesting evening.
But we
yeah,
also were
those are always
celebrating your
great.
birthday, and your dad came through.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, we
So
invited Brooke, the waitress, come on over with us, and basically between Brooke's family and Tracy's family, they kind of hijacked the investigation. Uh,
yeah.
So,
like
so
I said, it's unpredictable what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's happened to us too, where you go to an investigation and you think you're just trying to figure out what spirits are in the house, and then those deceased loved ones make their way through because they see that opportunity and they grab it.
yeah.
Yeah, with Wilson Castle, it was so active that we ended up doing a webisode on it, and we had to do two parts because there was just so much stuff. So if you guys want to check that out, that's right on our YouTube, East Coast Spirit Chasers. Definitely check it out; it's worth the watch.
What's
I
on
remember
your agenda for the months ahead now?
Yeah. What's coming up?
Yeah.
Cape May,
Yeah, we've got Cape May. What else do we have going
TK,
on?
TK or SK Mansion in Massachusetts.
SK Pierce
SK
in
Pierce,
Massachusetts coming up.
right?
We
We're
have
gonna,
a pizza parlor we're going to be investigating in upstate New York soon.
yeah,
Oh,
we're also gonna be heading out to Denver and Deadwood, and also flying out west to Nevada to hit up the locations over there. Like, we don't just keep it in the tri-state area. We love to travel and go all over the country, going to the most haunted locations uh, that the U.S. has to offer.
Yeah,
that's great.
we're New Jersey based, but I've done more investigations in Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, and Indiana than I've done in New Jersey.
Yeah, interesting.
And Virginia is pretty close too.
Yeah.
So,
Now, we did have a personal invite as well to do investigations at the Franklin Tower in Ohio, as well as the House of Wills that does not open up to investigators at all.
Wow.
And we're able to
That's
get
a
in
great
there.
opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very excited about that one.
Oh, I'll bet.
the pizza parlor we're doing used to be a funeral home, and
Oh,
they're saying
oh
there's a lot
goodness.
of activity there, so that's going to be an interesting one.
Sheesh. Well, you brought your trailer with you tonight, so I'd like to share that with everybody that's tuning in. If Chris will run that for us, you want to tell us about the trailer?
Um, the whole thing is just kind of came about last minute. Every year we do a week-long trip where we do 5 locations in 5 days. We've been doing this for the last several years, and we ended up going out to Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, and like maybe 2 weeks before the trip, we're like, let's just film a documentary and see what happens. So we originally filmed us doing 5 locations in a row. That was just over ambitious. There was no way we can fit this all into like 90 minutes. So we ended up choosing 3 of the locations. So we have a lot of extra footage that we'll do something with at some point. But the 3 locations that we got are some of the most haunted and well known in the paranormal community. We did Ashmore Estates in Ashmore, Illinois. We did Malvern Manor, which was just incredible in Malvern, Iowa, and then Edinburgh Manor in Monticello, Iowa, and just compiled this documentary. And when I mentioned that we do outside the box things, it's stuff that you don't see on TV. A lot of the experiments. When you watch a TV show or any type of paranormal presentation, everybody keeps it specific to just that location. We kind of, not only do we try to validate claims of the location, but we also want to ask about the afterlife because we are just so fascinated by it. So in this documentary, when you watch it, you'll see us asking, "What is the afterlife like? You know, are you okay? What does it feel like? You know, so many different types of questions because that's just such a wide, broad topic that you don't see on TV. So this documentary, it's called The Conscious Afterlife. Conscious because these are all spirits that are aware of the afterlife and what's going on. And, you know, we all have that question that we ask ourselves at one point is, what happens when we die? I don't know anyone who hasn't had that thought. And, you know, we try to get some answers with this documentary.
Cool. Okay, run it for us, Chris, please.
He will run at people.
He's not afraid of making you uncomfortable.
Get her out of the room. Get her out of the room.
Full-bodied apparitions, audible voices.
We've had overnight groups stay as little as 30 minutes.
He did have a mental disability, and he has zero concept of personal space.
Oh my God, did you hear that?
That wasn't very nice.
I'm being touched by him.
Like I said, when Terry's getting beat up, it's going to be a good investigation. But the one scream that you hear in the trailer there, that was a disembodied voice.
Oh,
that we had captured, and we had just walked past this doorway, and this like banshee scream just came out, and it's just crazy stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of insane stuff that we've captured that I can't wait to show people.
Please go ahead and let us know what social media outlets we can find you on, please.
Well, you guys can start on our main website, eastcoastspiritchasers.com. We are on Facebook. Just search East Coast Spirit Chasers, as well as on YouTube. We do webisodes, like 15 to 20 minute little videos of us doing investigations. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We've kind of slept on a little bit, but those are our main platforms where we put up our evidence and findings.
I looked for you on TikTok, but I couldn't find you. Are you under the full name on TikTok?
It's under EC Spirit Chasers.
East Sea Spirit Chasers. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't find you.
I think because when we originally set this up, somebody else that used to be on the team started our TikTok page, and we didn't associate with them anymore, so that kind of blocked out that name where we can't use East Coast Spirit Chasers, like, you know, like, so now we had to do EC Spirit Chasers, and that's our main page.
Gotcha. Well, this has been great. I really enjoyed having you guys on the show. I appreciate you coming. Really
interesting. Thanks for having me.
So I would love to have you back again sometime if you'd like to come on.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Emily.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Techie Chris. We couldn't do it without you.
Yep.
If you like listening to this week's episode and you're into all things paranormal, check out my other show, Eleanor Wagner's Strange and Scary World podcast out of the Paranormal UK radio network, which is available wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch and listen to the uncut version directly on my Eleanor Wagner YouTube channel. If any of you are interested in reading any of my books, you can find them on Amazon, but you can get signed copies directly through me at authoreleanorwagner@gmail.com. I write about the history of the location and town, add the paranormal story to the mix, and finish it all off with photos and evidence. I'm also excited to share that I now have t-shirts available from both my Creepin' It Real podcast and Strange and Scary World podcast. Anyone interested in getting one can email me at authoreleanorwagner@gmail.com. Lastly, viewers tune in on Thursday, March 14th at 8 p.m. when Paranormal Scout Investigations join me for some ghostly gab. Until then, good night.
I hope you've enjoyed this little journey down my own personal nightmare alley. If you're one of those people who experiences the paranormal and has stories of your own you've been filing away over the years, I want to hear about them. And if you're a part of a paranormal investigative team, even better. I'd love to have you on my show. Got a questionable photo? Send it in. Would love to have an open discussion here amongst the professionals. Reach out to me at authoreleanorwagner@gmail.com. Enjoy our soundtrack music, Headless Horseman by Alexander Nakarada, promoted by freestockmusic.com. And remember, no ghost story is better than a real-life ghost story. Until we meet again, make sure you're creeping it real.